Hi, everyone. Douglas Quinby here with Arrival. And, I have to say, I'm beyond thrilled to welcome to our first virtual summit for Asia Pacific, James Thornton, the CEO of Intrepid Travel. James, welcome.
Thanks, Douglas. Great to be here.
So I know we have a lot to talk about. I mean, Intrepid Travel, one of the biggest brands in multi-day, in day tour experiences with urban adventures, and a lot in sustainability. So we have lots to talk about. But I have to ask you first. So I understand from your background a little bit. You used to be in finance and a banker, and I'm just kind of looking at the markets and basically travel's not doing so great right now, but Wall Street keeps going up. So I've just, I got to ask, any regrets? You're thinking about, going back to your previous career?
No, definitely not, Douglas. Look, it's the toughest of times for the travel industry right now, isn't it? But no, I don't have any regrets about stepping away from the finance world, even as challenging as it is right here, right now. So no, certainly not missing it, and I won't be going back.
So can you give us kind of a state of the state for, for Intrepid? I mean, what's going on kind of right now? What's the impact, been on your business?
Yeah, the impact's been huge, Douglas. For a global travel company that pre-COVID was carrying 450,000 customers to 120 countries around the world, we went from 4 years of record top-line revenue and profitability and becoming a certified B Corp to, in the middle of March, suspending global operations for the first time in our 31-year history. And we've had to suspend trips for 59,000 passengers to this point. 5 months after suspension, we operated our first trip a couple of weeks ago, but there's still very small signs that we're going to be operating in any material state in the weeks or months ahead. So it's been incredibly challenging for our people, our customers, our local communities on the ground, and it really is the toughest of times, unfortunately.
So yeah, I do want to talk a bit about some of the specifics on where you do see some reopening. But first, I was quite struck personally when you had posted a letter to the industry, but I think also to your customers towards the end of April. What struck me about that letter was how personal it was and how much detail you provided about the company. So you said that you were processing about 35,000 cancellations. You were
Yeah.
repatriating some 3,000 travelers, but you also talked about that your average profit per trip is 4%. Given the tour operator industry, it's such a mostly private companies, super competitive. Uh, was there much like why would you give out so much information about about the business?
I guess as a privately owned travel company, we became a certified B Corp 2 years ago, and fundamentally, we believe in openness, honesty, and transparency. And we also believe that we want to celebrate the great things that we do, but we also recognise that sometimes we get things wrong, and it's good to just kind of admit to those things. So I just fundamentally think it's a point of difference. As a private company, you don't have to do it, but it kind of builds rapport and it builds trust with your customers and your partners and all the different stakeholders. And as a certified B Corp, we're trying to benefit all stakeholders as best we can. So, April was the toughest month for us. We were repatriating people. We were getting all of these refund requests coming through. We were trying to rebook operations. We were, having to reduce our overall cost base. And we were getting a few customers who weren't happy with us. And it was less than 5% of our overall customers, but they weren't pleased with the way we're handling things. And I felt that I wanted to go out and explain why we were doing what we were doing. And that letter seemed to be received relatively well by the industry, seemed to get understanding from our customers. And I think since then we've been able to kind of lift off that kind of platform. But yeah, we just fundamentally believe in openness and honesty, to be honest.
So you had also asked your customers if they would keep their deposits with you,
Yeah,
and you offered a 110% voucher. And
yeah.
so cancellations and refunds. This has been an incredibly challenging issue for not just for tours and experiences, but for the entire travel industry. What's your success kind of been like, and what advice would you have for companies that are going through that very process?
Yeah, so to this point, Douglas, 59,000 passengers have been had trips suspended. As at this morning, 5,900 of those customers have been fully refunded their monies, and then we've had the rest take the 110% trip credits, like you say. I think what's happening now, as there is further uncertainty around borders, is we are seeing more customers request refunds, but it still is only a small proportion of the overall customer base. And again, the customer letter was really trying to explain the importance of keeping the money with Intrepid so that we can continue to rebound quickly when the opportunity comes our way. Advice to other businesses: try and be as open and honest as you possibly can. It is the most challenging possible time. I mean, I can't think of many industries in the world right now where all the revenue that they booked last year, people are essentially, a lot of people are asking back. There is virtually no revenue coming in the door for 5 months. And guess what? In 2021, there's going to be the most amazing pent-up demand possible. So we've got to have travel companies that exist to be able to fulfill that demand. So, it's really just trying to appeal to customers and partners to leave as much money in businesses as they can, so that they have the best possible opportunity to rebound and provide amazing experiences for customers when it's safe and secure to be able to do so.
So you sound pretty optimistic about 2021. What is your what is your outlook?
Look, I'm as optimistic as kind of anyone can be. As a CEO of a global travel company, we've been going through our kind of ups and downs, as you can imagine, and every day kind of brings its new challenges. Outlook for 2021. Look, it's different in different parts of the world. I'm here in Melbourne. We're a Melbourne headquartered business. At the moment, our borders are shut. In fact, I'm in ultra lockdown here in Melbourne. I can't even leave my house, let alone go to the next state. So our outlook is different in every single market. We see travel rebounding ultra locally initially. Customers have been stuck at home. They want to get out and have some more active experiences. They want to do their walking, their cycling, go and support their local restaurants and coffee shops. So we think that will happen initially. Then some more domestic travel, and then in the course of time, as we're predominantly seeing in the UK and Europe at the moment, some international travel where it's safe and secure to be able to do that. But I think it's still going to be a while, probably second half of 2021, potentially with the advent of a vaccine, that we're going to start to get back to that kind of true unrestricted travel that we were used to in a pre-COVID environment.
And so, would you expect to see a rebound from the Urban Adventures brand, perhaps ahead of the multi-day brands?
Yeah, absolutely, Douglas. So Urban Adventures is already starting to receive kind of more bookings than any of our other brands at the moment, and that's just because of the kind of local nature and the style of those 3 or 4 hour experiences in the city. Intrepid's launched its new local domestic product, of which we're starting to see some traction. It's why we were able to operate our first trips 10 days ago in both the UK and the Lake District, and in Greece on the island of Syros. So we will start to see those kind of day tour programs, or that local travel program, come to fruition before that traditional multi-day touring program that Intrepid would historically have been known for.
So, well, let's talk a little bit about that. Because I did see when you launched the domestic program, is how much does that really help? I mean, I think that's a real question, for a lot of operators in our market. So yes, if you're in the U.S., if you're in a larger, a domestic, market opportunity like Australia, we could see some potential opportunity. But there are certainly markets across Asia and around the world which are really dependent on international travel. From an Intrepid standpoint, but from an industry standpoint, is how big is the domestic opportunity for you?
It's hard to say, Douglas. I mean, our top 5 destinations in a pre-COVID environment are, the likes of Vietnam, Peru, Kenya, India. So very international in nature. Typically, our Australian product's been a little bit different, in the sense we've had about 50% of travellers being domestic travellers and 50% being international coming into the country. So we do see an opportunity, especially for a country like Australia right now. Our borders are shut, and our government's giving us very little indication that they're going to open up until a vaccine occurs. So if you're a traveller like myself that's craving to get out, and you want to do something that isn't sit on a kind of beach or deck chair, and you want to have a bit of adventure or experience, then you do look to a company like Intrepid, which is a household brand name down here, and trust them because you travel with them in Vietnam or India or Peru, to provide a similar type of experience in Australia that connects people with the communities, gets them out to have some good experiences, try some good food, and meet the people. So I think the opportunity can be good. Will it ever replace our full international program? I wouldn't expect it would, no. But as any business right now, revenue is absolutely critical. So any revenue we can drive is going to be important to us. So yeah, that's why we've gone ahead and accelerated the launch of it, and we'll be launching more and more local and domestic products over the course of the coming weeks.
So as travel does come back, how, how is it going to change? What is it going to be like when you start seeing that international visitor return and borders open up? And how are you thinking about your products for the future? And I really want this to be kind of an open-ended question, so it could be
Yeah.
destinations, duration, protocols, product, group size. I mean, how are you thinking about the future of the touring product?
Yeah, sure. So I feel like Intrepid's pretty well placed, Douglas. Kind of we do two things pretty well: experiences and sustainability. They've been at the hallmark of everything we've done for 30 years. So I think increasingly people want experiences and they want to travel in a more sustainable fashion. We do very small groups with tailor-made products. We've got our 25 DMCs around the world, the datering program with Urban Adventures. So I feel we're well set up to take advantage of increasingly the way in which consumers will want to travel. I reckon initially it's going to be more short to medium haul rather than long haul. I think it's initially going to be probably a bit more solo travel than group travel. I think it's going to be going to destinations that people think have dealt with the virus better than destinations that haven't been perceived as being having dealt well with the virus. So I think that's how it will rebound initially. From Intrepid's perspective, we're really hoping and advocating that the rebuild will be responsibly. We've seen the news, haven't we, of villages in India and Nepal being able to see the Himalayas for the first time. We've been able to see wildlife returning into canals and water areas in Europe. So we really do advocate that this is a great opportunity for the industry to rebound responsibly and not kind of go back to some of its own ways. But I guess time will tell how that will manifest. But we'll certainly be advocating for that.
Well, so yeah, let me ask you about that. I mean, sustainability has been, central to the mission of Intrepid. But how do you, how do you balance this? You've got sustainability and you've also got, survival, right? And you can't be
Yeah,
sustainable if
yeah,
you can't survive. So how do
yeah.
you stay true to your mission during a time like this?
Because it's a competitive advantage for us, Douglas. Because people keep asking me this. They're like, "So do you think that you're fighting for survival, and therefore you're going to stop being sustainable?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not. It's ridiculous. Like sustainability is a competitive advantage for us, and we've got a proven track record, especially over the last 4 years. The more we grew, the more we did good things in the purpose space, and the more good things we did in the purpose space, the more that helped us grow because it raised the brand profile around the advocacy that we've done, the banning of elephant rides, the supporting of country like Nepal, the banning of child orphanage tourism, being outspoken around things that we believe in has actually helped grow the profile of our brand. So for us, it's just good business for us being promoting both. So to think that we might sacrifice sustainability to just focus on commercials is completely abhorrent because one leads to the other for us. So yeah, I
Well,
just
so but
don't see that as being the way.
So I remember right in the lead up to the last recession, the financial crisis in 2008 and 2009, there was growing interest in green travel. In fact, I remember
Yeah,
being involved myself in research that focused right around this, and demand was clearly growing. And
yeah,
then when the economy cratered, certainly in the U.S. and elsewhere, when we would then go back out and survey consumers and, well, what really mattered? Well, it was all about price and nobody was willing to
yeah.
pay an extra penny
Yeah.
for responsible travel. So what's changed now, 10 years later?
Well,
What's
I
different?
don't necessarily think anything's changed. I just don't agree with the fact that sustainability means expensive. So the secret of Intrepid is that actually we run a really good value proposition. I don't want to give away the hallmarks of what we do, but local travel, eating in local restaurants, staying in local accommodation, using the local transport, that's not expensive per se. Why why do people think that being sustainable means a cost? I just don't agree with that. So I actually think you can have both. You can have a good value proposition, but you can also have a really sustainable type experience.
So one last question to leave you with. So we have a lot of our attendees are operators from around Asia. A lot of them are in destination, kind of local day tour operators, also DMCs. They would love to be on your itineraries and kind of sell
Sure.
into Intrepid. What do you look for? If I'm an operator here, how can I kind of get on your radar, and what kinds of partners do you look for?
Yeah, we work with a huge variety of partners, Douglas, across Asia. Asia is our number one destination, or it certainly was pre-COVID, and we hope it will in time be post-COVID. What do we look for? We look for long-term partners that run more than just offering a kind of traditional type experience. They get under the skin of a destination. They have a personalized story. They run a sustainable type business. They're not owned by any kind of big conglomerate. We want to be providing our customers with really unique experiences. So we try and partner with local accommodation providers or transport providers or experience providers that offer those opportunities for our customers to really kind of get under the skin of a destination and do so in a sustainable manner as possible.
Great. Well, James, thank you so much. I love your commitment to sustainability, despite what we're all facing, and your optimism for 2021. I share that with you. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem, Douglas. Thanks for your time.